So the Book of Boba Fett is the latest Star Wars series to be released on Disney Plus. It is a branch-off series from the very popular Mandalorian, and it's a series that doesn't quite live up to the Mandalorian, the expectations that it has set for us. It's not a bad series, and it's one that I definitely would still recommend for anyone who is a Star Wars fan, but it's just a very mixed bag. There are a lot of things that I thought were great, and there are a lot of things that I thought were terrible. And as you guys know, when I like to rank these movies, there are two things that I really look at, and that is how how entertaining it is, and how intriguing it is, the storyline and whatnot. And we'll start off by talking a little bit about the entertainment of this film, of this show. And for the most part, it's really entertaining. There are definitely moments in the series throughout that are rather poorly done, and I didn't like. Particularly, there's a speeder chase. I forget which episode it's in, but it's terrible. And so there are some moments where you're kind of like, wow, that was not very good. But for the most part, the action is all done extremely well. It's entertaining to watch, particularly, this final, well, in the finale, there are some moments that I didn't like as well, but there's a lot of good moments there. There are some great moments with a train. There are great moments with the sand people. So a lot of this series is very entertaining. Learning more about Boba Fett and his story is also very, very fun. And so it is entertaining. It's an entertaining show. It does have its dull moments, but for the most part, it's fun to watch. Now, when it comes to how intriguing it is, it's a little bit less. I really didn't find myself getting fully invested into the primary storyline of this film involving Boba Fett taking over from Jabba the Hutt and kind of claiming his territory, and there are people who are opposing him, the Syndicate with his spice trade, and they are involved. It leads to that final, but really I never found myself caring about that part. I didn't find myself really caring about them as villains per se. So the main storyline was a bit of a disappointment, but there are some side storylines of this series that are also fairly interesting, particularly involving things with the Mandalorian and with Baby Yoda, that were really fun to watch, and they get me very excited for what could be coming later, particularly in The Mandalorian Season 3, or also in Ahsoka as she makes a brief appearance. And so it leaves me a little bit disappointed because Boba Fett is more or less, it gets me more excited for what could be coming later than what I was for the show that I was actually watching, and so that was a little bit of a disappointment. But it does have its good moments, and I think part of the reason why the main storyline just didn't feel so intriguing to me is as you get towards the later episodes, there's two episodes where you basically leave that storyline behind and you spend most of it with the Mandalorian kind of doing his thing, and so then you come back for the final episode and it's like, okay, we're back. And I don't know, I felt like I enjoyed the stuff with the Mandalorian more than when we came back. And it's not that Boba Fett is bad. I thought Boba Fett was a very good character, and I like a lot of the other characters, but the storyline that it was with, it just didn't really do it for me. Now, when it comes to cleanliness, as I like to rank how clean a film is, there is nothing in this show that you really need to worry about. There's nothing that is different than any other Star Wars series that you would have seen beforehand. The only thing that comes to mind that is in the show is obviously there is action. It's not really violent action per se, and it's definitely not gory, but it is there. There's a lot of fighting, and it's entertaining, but you do need to watch for that. The other thing is totally useless, but there is a little bit of Star Wars swearing, which to me means absolutely nothing because who cares? But it is in there. So those are kind of the things that are in this show that you need to watch out for. But for the most part, it's extremely clean. It's very fun, just a Star Wars adventure, much like all of the others that we've seen before. And so, just to kind of conclude and to wrap up my thoughts for you guys, Boba Fett is a series that is definitely worth checking out, even if it's not one that you're going to probably return to very often. It's got some moments of extreme entertainment, and it's got some dull moments. The storyline is but it does enough to get you through what you need to know. And so overall, if I was to provide a ranking for this series, I would give it a B-. It's good, but it's definitely not great. But when it comes to the cleanliness, it's going to get a B+, as the only thing that you really have to worry about is some action, which is pretty typical for Star Wars films. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this review, and let me know down in the comments what you thought of the Book of Boba Fett. And as always, like and subscribe, and let me know if there are any series or movies that you'd like to see me review sometime in the future.